Here we go. We are officially live here on YouTube. I'm here with the guys from Hold My Helmet, and we got Will and Dylan. And thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for having us. We're honored to be on, and we're excited. The football season's about to start. I'm
Yeah.
sure we're all sitting at the ends of our seat waiting, and it's definitely going to be exciting. Finally back. Finally back.
Things to look forward to for sure.
We've been waiting all summer for this. And
Right.
by the way, just before we start, we got Will. He's a Jets fan, just so we know, just so you guys
Yeah.
know. And then we
Right,
got
bud.
we got Dylan. He's a Giants fan. So we got
Yes, very
East Coast and West Coast because I'm a Niner fan. Some of you
Fan
guys
friend.
know.
Yeah.
And we got some people in the chat right now. But if you guys have any questions in the chat, just feel free to say in the chat, and I'll say it to the guys. So we're just gonna go over each game, and we're gonna go over our takes. Who's gonna win? It's simple as that. First game of the season this Thursday. We got the Chiefs and the Lions. Huge game for a lot of people hyping up the Lions this season. So what do you guys think? Who's gonna take this first game?
It's tough, because it's looking like Travis Kelce isn't going to play, but I still got to go Chiefs here. Look, the Lions secondary, they've added some pieces, but I still don't know how it's going to look against Mahomes. Given Mahomes doesn't have much weapons, but he showed last year he can win the Super Bowl without any weapons other than Kelce. And I heard it's possible Chris Jones might not play either. So regardless, the Lions have to prove to me that they're a legitimate team and they can hang with the big dogs. So I still yet to see it from them. They're kind of like the Jets. My Jets, they're very disappointing. So I got to start with the Chiefs here. I think it's going to be close and high scoring, but I got to go with Chiefs.
well.
I like that. Yeah, go ahead, Dylan.
No. I mean, everything's swinging towards the Chiefs. You would think, just winning a Super Bowl, back to back. Like you would really think, they would be keep it going. But I'm gonna go the other way with it. I like the way the Lions have been playing. They played a lot of aggressive games. They beat beat Green Bay 2 times last year. That last game was a real one that really just showed them, who they truly were.
Right.
I really like. They have a lot of weapons. They have Amari St. Brown. He's a beast. And it's kind of weird. They really switched up the running back duo. They got rid of Swift. And they got rid of Jamal Williams, and they completely turned it around. And who do they get? They got Montgomery, and then they had that guy.
Well, they drafted Gibbs, which is
Gibbs.
who people are very high on. But like I said, you gotta wait to see with the Lions. But that's how I feel
but
about
I'm
that.
really high on the Lions this year, and I feel like this will be their coming out moment. To really prove who they are.
Definitely. I agree with you, Dylan. I mean, the Lions have so much hype going into this season. We actually have a Lions fan in the chat right now. He's going crazy. He likes your take.
Probably doesn't like mine, but look, I still think they're going to win the division. But they started off a little slow last year, but it seems like they got to get it going. They got a tough one to start with Kansas City. They might have gotten a little advantage here with Kelce, but they still got to go against Mahomes. Let's not forget about that.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we got and also Chris Jones on the Chiefs defense. It looks like he's not playing, so that's a big loss for the Chiefs. So there's a lot of things going.
Isn't playing either, and that's another key.
Yeah.
Weapon that he's going to be missing out on.
Look, and the Lions have a great offensive line. The problem isn't their offense.
Yeah.
The problem is whether their defense is going to be able to stop Mahomes. And like I said, they added pieces in the secondary, but I think it's going to take some time for them to gel together. So I got Chiefs.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, I mean, before I heard this Kelce news today, I was Chiefs all the way. But it's really making me, second guess it for sure. So everything's pointing in the.
Patrick Mahomes loves his key receiver, Kelce.
Yeah, exactly. And everything's pointing in the way of the Lions right now, but I don't know. It's just Chiefs coming off a Super Bowl, first game of the season, home game, and it's just really, I don't know. I haven't made my decision really on that game. Like it's up in the air. But
really
if
Look, everyone's, I want to lean towards the Lions. I really do, but they got to show me. It's kind of a show me game for the Lions. And if they come out firing all cylinders, then look, I still, like I said, I still think they're going to win the division, but it's just a rough one to get Kansas City out the game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, any team getting Kansas City first game, that's a rough one. Looking at the chat. Go ahead.
So they actually had a really good start last season as well.
Yeah.
Who did they play? They also played the
The first game.
yes,
against
the first game
Eagles?
they
I
played
guess.
the Eagles, and it was a very close game. It came down to 35-38. They lost by 3 points, but it just shows they can really come out firing in the beginning of the season.
Well, then they started 1-6, 2-6, but they bounced back at the end, and they ended on a strong note. So I gotta see with them. That's all. Gotta see.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm looking at the chat really quick, just seeing what people are saying. We got JT saying he got Chiefs. He says it'll probably be a high-scoring game.
My boy GT.
Yeah, we got Matt in the chat. He's a Lions fan. He says 30-24 Lions. That's his prediction.
That's
I like it.
reasonable.
He says Mahomes is great, but he ain't Superman.
I don't know about that.
I think he is kind of Superman after all the. I mean,
words on Thursday.
yeah, he's proved all of us wrong time and time again. I mean,
He
he's-
does, I know. Even
he's
out of
amazing.
college, it came out of everybody always.
Yeah, Texas Tech. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He wasn't this highly talented quarterback prospect. He's kind of like people were kind of whispering about him, but he wasn't the main focus in that draft. And he ended up being a great pick by the Kansas City Chiefs. So here we are now.
yeah, definitely, totally agree. So, first game, guys, we're kind of in the middle here. Some of us have Chiefs, some of us have Lions. It's going to be a great first game of the season. So let's just move on to the next game we got here on the list, and it's between Panthers and Falcons. It's not, the craziest matchup, but it's going to be it's a division game, so those are always big. Doesn't matter what
Absolutely.
division. What's your guys' takes on Panthers, Falcons? Who do you got? Before I'm going to see who's favored really quick. Yeah, Falcons are favored by 3.5.
Right.
So it's a pretty close game. But yeah, who do you guys got in that one?
I like the Falcons for this one. They have a lot of talent all around. I don't know what to make of Kyle Pitts anymore. I think you'll agree with this too. He just hasn't been that key receiver that everyone's been so hyped about. So I think we just I think the Falcons are going to win this one. There's not much to take from this. They're two mediocre teams, but I get Falcons for this.
I don't understand why everyone's so high on the Falcons. I get that their schedule is a little bit lenient, but I do have the Falcons winning this game. I do think the Falcons are going to do something like similar to last season, how they started off kind of strong and they kind of fall off. So I do think they'll start off strong here. I'm worried about the Panthers' offensive line. I think it's going to be the opposite thing for them. They might start slow, and then Bryce Young starts to pick it up under Frank Reich. But I have them struggling in this game. I think Bijan Robinson is probably going to hit the ground running, and they're going to have, with him and Algier, a good rushing attack in this game. And I got the Falcons in that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add to that. I have Falcons as well. I even think they're going to probably win this game by more than 4 points. So if you're a betting man, I would definitely take that spread on the Falcons. I was going to add one more thing to that, but now I forgot. Oh, yeah, I was going to say about Kyle Pitts. I actually took him in my fantasy team. I'm believing in him one more year. One more year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I got to see one more season out of him because he looked kind of promising his rookie season. And then last year, he took a big step back. So I need to see year 3.
But is that the quarterback he was around? They really have.
Yeah, I agree. Mario struggled last year, but people are kind of high on Ritter. I don't see it, but I could be wrong. So that's Kyle Pitts. I agree. One more season. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully that goes well for you in fantasy. I've been ripped way too many times, so I get where you're coming from.
Looking at the chat, Damien in the chat says Falcons are going to win. Nobody knows what Pitts is doing, but Bijan is going to run down their throats.
Yeah, I mean, I know everyone loves to favorite running backs as soon as they come out of college, but you just don't know how they're gonna relate with the NFL. He was a good running back in college, but let's see what he looks like in the NFL.
I feel like running back is the easiest position to transition from college to the NFL because it's kind of see hole, hit hole a little bit. Cut some zone schemes here and there, but usually the rookies like Zeke, they kind of hit the ground running. Gurley was good early, so I think they're going to use the treads on them this year a lot, and you're going to see it in the first game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, coming out of college, running backs tend to do pretty well.
Right.
All right, especially hyped up running backs.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the next game, we got the Browns and the Bengals, another division game here. Obviously, Burrow's not going to be playing, so it gives Browns a huge advantage. And another thing is, Browns are so hyped. I feel like overhyped this season. they're projected to win at least 9 games or over 9 games this season, which
I
is
think 9.5 is their number. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm just like, I didn't expect that, but
I'm buying it.
yeah. What do you guys think about the Browns this season?
So what? So question: it's official. Burrow's not playing now because I think that is because last
I
time
mean,
I saw it,
I could look up the latest news. Honestly,
because
I
last
didn't
time
look
I
it up.
saw, he said he wasn't ruling it out. But if it's official
Okay.
now, I mean, well,
Yeah, I might have to swing. I don't know.
No, regardless, I was still going Browns. You know, the Bengals seemed to struggle coming out of the gate early. They struggled a little bit at the beginning of last year, kind of the season before. You know, they seem to be a team that needs a little bit to get going. Regardless of the Burrow injury, look, the Browns have players, especially on offense. If Deshaun Watson can produce even 80% of what he used to be, you got Njoku as a top 10 tight end, Nick Chubb. Amari Cooper is very underrated in my opinion. I think he's a legitimate number one. And now you add Elijah Moore to go along with Myles Garrett on defense, obviously. So I think the Browns they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Whether they make it or not, probably not. But, you know, I think the Browns are going to come out the gate smash mouth early against Cincinnati, shock some people.
Okay, wow. So you're a big Browns believer. I like it.
I don't know. I just see too much talent there, and I know Deshaun Watson used to be special, and I just got to see one more season out of it. You know, I can't give up on a guy that I'm pretty sure has over 100 passer rating for his career. So I think it's top 3 or all time. It's in the top 5, I think, his passer rating. So he was special. I think he still has that ability.
Okay, yeah. It'd be very interesting to see what Watson does. Yeah, a lot of people think he's definitely going to bounce back. The Bengals are favored by 2.5, which someone in the chat actually said Joe is expected to play.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, that was the assumption I heard. Regardless, I got Browns, but
okay. Oh, so regardless, okay.
Yeah, I had Browns before, like knowing Burrow was going to play, right?
Interesting. Okay, cool. All right. So I mean, yeah, you know, my heart wants to take Bengals just because what I've seen from them. It's the Browns at the end of the day, you know. So
join the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. So we're probably split on. I guess I would lean Bengals. I wouldn't be mad if Browns won by any means. That'd be great. But I'm leaning Bengals.
It's hard not to. I just, you know,
Yeah.
It seems like Cleveland kind of has played Cincinnati well the last 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure. So, and especially
Division.
Watson can be Watson. Hopefully Watson can not disappoint. We'll see, though. We'll see. It's going to be exciting.
I'm not going to lie. I wasn't crazy about him in the preseason. Like, you know, he had his feet. You know, it looked like he was, you know, still running around a lot. But he just had a lot of I talked about this in the podcast. He had a lot of bad throws that just didn't look that good. And, you know, after missing a whole season, like, you don't know what's going to come out of him. You know, if he, you know, he let all the news feed and all that go to his head, and it just, you know.
So you got Bengals?
Yeah, I'm going with Bengals. You know, like they should have been in the Super Bowl last year, in my opinion. So they were just that good. With or without Burrow, you have, you know, stars all around.
You know, Burrow's healthy.
Sure.
He's definitely my front runner for MVP. But I just think that coming out the gate, you know, I think Cleveland's going to be a little motivated this year, especially after, you know, they were kind of riding around 500 last season. But I just think Deshaun Watson has a full offseason to prepare, and I just think, you know, they're going to be firing on all cylinders coming out of the gate. So that's just how I feel about that.
I think so.
I do disagree that I think, you know, Watson did make some good and bad throws at the preseason. We'll take it with a grain of salt. But he looked like he was able to move his feet and make plays down the field. You know, that's why I picked up from the preseason. So it looks like he still has that magic left.
Okay,
We'll see.
cool.
I think it'll take time for him, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, he could still be rusty. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I like your take, Will. So we'll see. It should be a very interesting game.
If he's rusty coming out the offseason, then a full offseason, then they have problems. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that is true. Okay, so moving on. We don't have any really predictions in the chat on this game, but moving on to the next game here, we got let's see, the Jaguars and the Colts. And I mean, obviously, Jaguars definitely favored, but they're only favored by 5.5, 6 points. So it could be close. We'll see how the rookie Anthony Richardson does. So yeah, what do you guys think about the Colts?
I think this is going to be a really good one. You know, we have 2 really young quarterbacks, and we already know what Travis Lawrence is, but you know, Anthony Richardson really showed a lot of promise in the offseason, in the preseason games. So it's going to be a really good one, you know. Jaguars obviously already proved themselves. They really made a step up season last year. They've done a lot, you know. They've been in a lot of tough games, and you know I'm favoring the Jaguars for this one.
So
Okay.
I also obviously, I'm going to go Jaguars too. I think this is an obvious one. I think the Colts are a little spicy for this game, but
They are.
I think it's going to take some time for Anthony Richardson. He's very raw, Anthony Richardson. He's going to probably struggle a little bit coming out of the gate. He's going to turn the ball over, and Jacksonville has a pretty strong front seven. So I know the Colts line isn't terrible, but they're going to create some pressure. But that's why Anthony Richardson's good at using his legs. He'll be able to move, make some plays. You're going to see why he was drafted number 4. But at the end of the day, Jacksonville, I mean, their offense with Calvin Ridley now is pretty stacked. So I got to go Jaguars here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm taking Jaguars. Taking the Colts, it's too hard to do. But I feel like Anthony Richardson will definitely show signs of, his flashiness, and he'll definitely, excite the Colts fans for the future. But I don't know, with running quarterbacks, man, knock on wood, the injuries kill him. So he's young. You gotta don't be too crazy these first few games. So, but I'm sure he's gonna be flashy and fun to watch. So, but I do I'll take Jaguars in this one for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more to add to that. I think we all are in lockstep about that. The Colts will be exciting this year.
That's what I'm saying. It might be a good game just because Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
he's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Definitely. And then we got Damien in the chat. He said Richardson should be good. He's got Pittman. And he's got a great running QB and a strong arm for sure. One of the best QBs from the last draft.
I don't know if you guys saw the one. He had one insane pass. It was in practice, but it literally looked like a Michael Jordan moment. Like off the foot, throwing it like 60 yards.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's got an arm. Look, he's got all the tools you want in 2023. So it's just about putting it all together. He's very raw, and I think Shane Steichen's going to turn out to be a really smart offensive head coach. He helped Jalen Hurts. Maybe we'll see some regression from Hurts this year. I don't think so, but it could be a lot of Shane Steichen. So we'll find out.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, it is practice at the end of the day. So you can do crazy things at practice, but can you do it the real game time under that pressure, the speed? Like the speed is another level, but I totally get what you mean.
You're forgetting my quarterback was Zach Wilson. I know all about that. YouTube highlights, but can't make a simple screen pass. So I definitely understand that, and I agree with you. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're moving on to the next game here. If you're just watching right now, thank you for tuning in. By the way, we're with Hold My Helmet. You could give him a subscribe to him on YouTube and hit him up on Instagram at Hold My Helmet. So these are the guys right here. We're going over all the games if you're just tuning in. To the next game here, we got Buccaneers versus the Vikings. Baker Mayfield versus Cousins.
I think we all know
what do you think of this one
here. Like what are the Bucs? After they got rid of Tom Brady, it was like they fell off a cliff. They obviously have Mike Evans, but can they really produce anything? They're just not a good team overall. In my opinion,
they still have some players in mind. So you think the Vikings are going to win?
Probably. Oh yes.
So they still have some players from those Super Bowl teams. They have. Don't forget Chris Godwin too, and they do have some players. Baker Mayfield, if he could be okay, they could win some games. I'm talking maybe 5-6 at best.
Baker couldn't do it with so much talent around him. You think he's going to do it with some?
Well, he did make the playoffs. Not a Baker Mayfield defender. I don't think he's a franchise guy. I think he's a step below. He's definitely a top 32 quarterback in the league, though. So 100%.
Okay.
I got the Vikings here, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think I think the spread right now is -6 Vikings. So that would be a hot one to take the Bucs on the spread for that. I don't know if you want to confirm that, but yeah. I still got Vikings, but I think it's going to be a close one. I think the Bucs do have some players, and they still have some defensive players too. They just might struggle to run the ball, which they did last year. So that might be their fall in grace. But I don't think Vikings defense improved much from last year either. So
I actually think they have a lot to prove after that terrible Giants loss. Great on the Giants, but they just looked god awful in that playoff game.
I don't think they're going to be 11-0 one-score games, but I do think they'll eke out this one-score game here. So I got Vikings in the close one.
Yeah, I agree. I got Vikings, but something tells me Baker Mayfield might go off in this game, and everyone's going to be like,
that defense is looking very lackluster.
Yeah, don't forget, he's back, Baker's back, But then, like Baker always does, he has an amazing game out of nowhere, and then he just falls right off the cliff and does nothing after that. So it could, I don't know. Like, I would probably, if I was betting on the game, I'd definitely take Bucks plus six and a half for sure.
I agree. I think that's a hot one. I think that's one people should consider also.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's for sure Bucks are going to win by any means, but just
I got Patriots,
yeah, it's just Baker Mayfield's kind of all over the place.
Well, here's the thing, Baker Mayfield. I don't think he deserved to be the number 1 overall pick, but he does have some some arm talent. He's pretty accurate. He just needs pieces around him. He's not going to carry. He needs to be carried. So if things can go well around him, Baker could win you some games. I think that's proven. He just shows that he can't carry you out of the mud. He's not going to be down 3 scores when they're all knowing you have to throw and complete passes into tight windows. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that we all know that. Some people might not want to admit that, but that's how
I think we saw what we have to see from Baker, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
All on Cleveland.
He showed some promise on the Rams. It was exciting for a few weeks, but again,
yeah.
that game where he, I forgot, I think was it against the Raiders where he had 2 touchdowns at the end of the game and came back. He was terrible for most of that game. People forget. So
yeah,
he's not consistent. Just like you said, not consistent, and he'll win some games, but they'll probably be in the Caleb Williams Sweet 6 if it goes south, for sure.
Yeah, agreed, for sure. Definitely agree with you. So yeah, we're all leaning Vikings, but like we said, we'll see what Baker does. Moving on to the next game. Let's see. We got Titans and the Saints. Derek Carr, new team. How you think he's gonna do?
Let's let you start. What do you think? What do you think's happening for this game?
This game, it's hard to tell, but I honestly think Derek Carr is gonna have a pretty good season. I don't know how Titans defense is gonna be in this game. I do like that the Saints are home. Actually, you know what the spread is on this one?
I think the Saints are home, and I think it's -3 Saints. Probably because of the home field advantage.
-3. Yeah, that's a tough one because Kamara's not playing, right? He's out.
I don't think he's playing.
I don't know if that make much of a difference after last
You don't think
season.
so? So you like Titans then?
Well, no, I like. No, listen. Like
he has PTSD with Kamara and fantasy.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Kamara to begin with. But
Okay.
No, I feel like Derek Carr is really gonna come out firing. I think they're gonna win. The Saints are gonna win this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Derek Carr fan at the end of the day. I got nothing against the guy. But you gotta worry. You always gotta worry about Derrick Henry. Tannehill's still a great QB or a good QB. They got D-Hop, right? Titans. Yeah. He's playing.
Oh, yeah,
so yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
No, this is another good one. I agree.
Yeah, they have it close, and I think it will be close. So this is one of those games. I feel like it could go either way.
Derek Carr's kind of used to playing really good teams. They played the Chiefs twice a year,
and they were playing well.
It's true.
He's good with going up against good competition like that.
So I think people really underestimate the head coaching abilities of Mike Vrabel. I know their defense doesn't have all the big names that you would know, but their run defense is pretty decent. I think he'll have the secondary overperforming because that's just how he is. He's a very smart defensive head coach. And I'm pretty sure if you look at his records, he hasn't really had great quarterback play. It's always like 11-5, 9-7, 11-5, 11-5. He's a good head coach. I think he's proven that. I think Tannehill's not washed yet, and he's better than people think. And you're right. You still got Derrick Henry. People forget he still had 1,500 rushing yards last year, even though it seemed like he had a quiet season. I think the Titans are going to, I think the Titans are going to be a little better than people think. Probably still won't make the playoffs in the stacked AFC, but I think the Titans are going to sweep this one out.
Okay, you got Titans.
Yeah, I got Titans in that one, and I do think Hopkins is still a top 15 receiver, maybe even top 10. I think I have him more at like 11 or 12, but I think he still can make great catches in separation.
He is a lot older now, though.
I totally agree. Yep, I totally agree. Let me just check the chat really quick. Okay, no one's talking about that game in particular. Moving on to my 49ers, and they're playing the Steelers. And, man, I'm really worried about this game. A lot of people have the Steelers upsetting the Niners because I say upsetting. Because Niners are favored to win, but only by 2.5. So this would be an easy bet to take Steelers because they're at home. They got Pickett,
exactly.
and they got so much momentum going into this season. So what do you guys think about this game? Obviously, I can't go against my Niners. I'm Niners all day, so
No,
I want to
yeah,
hear your
of course
guys'.
not. It's going to be
We'll
good
pencil
game.
that one in for you.
So, Steelers, I think the key point is they're at home. They're a great coaching. They have a great coaching staff. Last year they actually played the Bengals, and that was good. Bengals should have won that one, but they ended up squeaking out a win for that one. And I think they're just really good at just putting the pedal to the metal and just getting started. And they showed a lot of talent as well with Kenny Pickett. And,
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going to win this one.
I don't know. So this seems like the most popular underdog this week.
Yeah, definitely.
People, have a lot of hype over Kenny Pickett in the preseason and Deontay Johnson. I do think Kenny Pickett's better than people think. He showed that he can make tight throws and move them out of the pocket and make throws on the run. But something's telling me about that game. I just have this gut feeling in me that this is just going to be one of those games where Deebo Samuel just completely takes over. I don't know why. It just feels like one of those moments for him. I don't know. I think the Niners, the Steelers have some good offensive pieces, obviously a receiver and everything. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure Matt Canada's still there as offensive coordinator, and he's shown that he has a lot of very vanilla play calling. So I don't know if that can improve. But I just like I said, this just feels like one of those games where Deebo Samuel is just going to completely have himself a game, and you can't mess with that defense either. So it's probably going to be relatively low scoring, but I think it's probably going to be decided by a big Deebo play.
Really good defense.
Yeah, I would love to see it, and obviously, Niners will not have Nick Bosa. It looks like. I mean.
Right. Yeah.
We haven't signed him yet, so that's a big loss right there. But I still trust the defense.
Yeah,
Another thing I was going to say on that one, I'm kind of, as a 49er fan, I'm actually kind of glad, like, literally the public is picking Steelers. Like, everyone's on Steelers. And I'm kind of, in a way, it's kind of good because it's adding more fuel to our fire, if anything. Hopefully it pumps up our players, but we'll see. I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of it is because people are just feeding into a lot of the quarterback drama that happened over the offseason.
Yeah, definitely.
Brock Purdy could even just be 70-80% of what he was last year. The Niners are fine, and I think they'll squeeze this game out. Like I said, it might be low scoring, might be close. But
he's a very young quarterback and having a lot to prove.
Yeah,
definitely.
All he's got to do is get the ball to his playmakers. You know how that Niners offense works. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I think they'll run the ball effectively too.
Dump it off to McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. It's there's a lot of weapons there.
Oh, you have an endless amount of receivers.
And if you watch a lot of tape on the Niners, you got a lot of guys running wide open over the middle, and that's a reason why they went with Purdy over Lynch. You got to be able to hit those wide open guys. They don't need someone with great ability. They need someone that's accurate. Can move a little bit, and that's exactly what Purdy.
I think you guys scored a whole home run getting rid of Trey Lance. Honestly,
for a fourth, what was it, 3 firsts? It's rough, but you got a fourth back. I wouldn't have given more than 6 for him. So I think you guys got a good deal there. Jerry Jones, how he could be a little impatient. Didn't tell anyone apparently.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of like how it stirred up all the Cowboys fans, and they're happy but then mad. I don't know.
Yeah, every time I bring up the Cowboys or Dak at all, I guess get completely just demolished by all the Cowboy fans. It's just how it goes with Dallas,
Oh yeah.
So, I don't want to.
They're intense fans for sure. Cowboys.
Yeah,
fans.
passionate, 100%.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We could pretty much skim through this game. I mean, Cardinals, Commanders. It should be Commanders all the way.
Yeah. Commanders by process of elimination, in my opinion. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about them, but I'm really not crazy about the Cardinals. So we could skim over that one. I think Sam Howell might be able to play, but we'll see.
Yeah, and Washington has a really good defense, or they should have a good defense.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so we'll just skip over. Oh, we're taking Commanders. What's the next game here? We got Texans and Baltimore. I mean, this should be another pretty easy game to predict.
Yeah, Lamar's going to have a field day.
So. Field day.
Receivers,
Yeah, everyone's taking Lamar for like their daily fantasy, like DraftKings definitely taking Lamar as their QB. So this should be easy. But I'm a DeMeco Ryans fan because he was on the Niners.
Yep, right.
And I want to see him do well, but he's not going to win this first game.
Maybe they cover the spread though. It's -10, I think, for the Ravens right now. So that's possible.
Is it? Okay.
They played a lot of close games last year. They have a new head coach now, but I think he's going to instill some. I think the defense is going to be a little feisty. They just don't have enough talent there yet, but I think with a nice young defensive head coach, they'll be a little feisty. But this is a rough start for them. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. This would be a really interesting game. Packers versus Bears. Love versus
That,
Fields.
that one's a big one. It
Yeah,
is.
division
You
game.
know, I love Jordan Love, but you know,
I don't get why, but
I don't know. It's going to be a really close game. You know, I love Fields even more.
Okay.
Just the way like all these good quarterbacks are coming out to be like good running and throwing quarterbacks. You know, we saw he had the feet. We could run the ball, but now in the off season, we saw a lot of talent coming out of him. You know, with him and DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is really going to help him out. You know, because they didn't have too many receivers last year, so they didn't have much to work with. But now that they put some talent around him, I think they're going to do real good. And you know, I don't know how Jordan Love's going to perform. You know, he's had like 4 years to perform already, and we obviously haven't seen him until now. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, all the pressure is
So-
on Love for sure, but there's a lot of pressure on Fields too. A lot of pressure on Fields because we're gonna see if he has a bounce back year because last year was terrible.
Yeah, no, he only had the feet going for him.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
1 point
and-
game too. It's a 1 point
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah, -1 for the Bears right now, probably because of home field advantage. But I think there's
Yeah.
three. I think there's three key things I could take away from going into this game. One, can Chicago develop more pieces at wide receiver? And I think we saw that with DJ Moore in the preseason. He can make plays after the catch. His yak is crazy. So I think they add that element going with Cole Kmet, and I'm pretty sure Khalil Herbert had some games too. Number two, can that secondary hold up? Because that secondary was putrid last year. They drafted the corner, I think, in the second round, Tyreek Stevenson. He looks like he could be a stud. So if they can get and they picked up a couple of linebackers in free agency, so they will be improved on both sides of the ball. And number three, I don't know what Jordan Love is yet. So those three factors to go along with Justin Fields, scrambling for first downs on third and short. I think Chicago's gonna have a slight advantage here, especially with the home field advantage as well. So I gotta go with Chicago here. But again, I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I agree. I would go with Chicago too. I'm actually surprised it's so close to the line, but yeah, it's really a toss up.
I think it's the unknown of Green Bay because they still got players. So you think that okay, Jordan Love can somewhat put it together. They'll be competitive with the running backs and Christian Watson and some players on defense. So they have some tools. We just gotta see what Jordan Love is. That's all. And
Yep.
like I said, I believe in Justin Fields a little more than Jordan Love just based off his being special with his running abilities. That alone will win them a game or two. So we'll see. But
Yep,
I got
that's the biggest questions for sure. Looking at the chat really quick, it says we got Matt says the Bears with the W. Let's see, Bears, and then Damien says Bears easily winning. So mostly all of us are on the Bears.
So I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be easily. I think
Yeah.
both teams struggle, but I got that.
I mean, what if Jordan Love does amazing and everyone's gonna be like,
That's what I'm saying. Jordan
Yeah.
Love could just have a show.
yeah, exactly.
I just feel like if Jordan Love was special, we would have heard chirps about it at this point, in some practices or something. It just seems very odd to me. So I think he could be decent, middle of the pack in the league, but I don't ever see him be, top 10, let alone top 5 quarterback. So,
But with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon behind him, I think it'll be a lot easier for him to be doing that.
oh yeah, they could. Their
They
schedule
have a good run game. That period.
Their schedule is
Definitely.
relatively easy. There's a path where they can make the playoffs, get 9 wins, but it's tough here. But I gotta take Chicago. I think it's their time to take a step up. So we'll see.
I'm sticking
Definitely.
with Chicago as well, but I think it's going to be a really close game as well.
Me
Good
too.
one.
One score
Yeah.
game.
That's gonna be a really good game to watch. And that one, we got a lot of like morning games. Well, morning for the West Coast, but the first games they're going to be
I've
really
noticed
good.
that too. It's usually like they stack the morning and they have like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did that a lot last season too. They stacked a lot of morning games. I think it's because they like the better. Obviously, they like the better games at 4. So they're
Yeah.
trying to put less on so more people could view them. But it's just kind of clutters red zone a little bit.
Yeah, very.
Because obviously that's what we're watching over here, red zone. We got the
Red
multiple
zone for
screen
sure.
situation. So
We're looking like Buffalo Wild Wings. with
Yeah.
the amount of screens
Yeah.
that we have.
Exactly. All right, moving on to the next game here. We got we got the Broncos versus the Raiders. Jimmy G versus Russell Wilson, new
Right.
coach for Russ.
Hey, Russ.
So, what do you think?
Russ.
Broncos
So
for
I'll-
sure.
So this could really go either way. Like if Russell Wilson really steps up, because I don't know, I feel like he's really got the shit under the stick because he really hasn't been good this last season. He looked okay in preseason, like they were stepping up, but he still showed spurts of like not being that good and just folding under the pressure. And I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on if Russell Wilson steps up, but I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Just they have an overall better team. Let's see with Sean Payton straighten them up. I feel like they just a lot more
better coaching.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, so for me, okay. So I'm a little worried about the lack of receiver depth. I'm pretty sure Jerry Jeudy's still hurt. Tim Patrick's out for the year. They are getting Javonte Williams back eventually, but their defense is just, I think it's close to a championship caliber defense. You want to hear an interesting point? I think I brought this up a couple of times in my podcast, but this is pretty interesting. If the Broncos scored at least 18 points, exactly 18 points or more in every game last season, they would have won at least 10 games. I think 11.
Wow.
So it's pretty crazy. So
that is crazy.
All Russell Wilson needs to do is show a little bit. All Russell Wilson needs to do is show a little bit of the old magic. And, again, the AFC stacked. I don't think they'll probably be on the outskirts of the playoffs, but I do think they'll be strong. I do think they're better than the Raiders right now. The Raiders are good at the important positions, good receiver, good running back, good defensive end, but is it enough? And the coaching is a big question, like you said. Sean Payton versus Josh McDaniels, that's a big factor, so I got to go Broncos here. But it might be closer than people think. I don't think it'll cover the spread. I think it's -4 Broncos, so I don't know about that. But I got to go Broncos.
We got to see how Jimmy G does. I mean, as a 49er fan, I actually really like Jimmy G, to be honest. A lot of 49er fans hated him and wanted him out, but I was a big fan of him. So I wish him the best with the Raiders, but I don't see him beating the Broncos in this game. So I would definitely lean Broncos too. Better coaching. Russ needs to have a great season or he's pretty much done. He needs to retire at that point.
In the same field as like Baker Mayfield. He showed a lot of.
Well, I think Russell Wilson's
a little ahead of Baker.
Russell Wilson's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, regardless of what happens. In my opinion,
he keeps on doing what he's doing.
He carried that Seahawks team for years, and they didn't have, I get the Legion of Boom years, but then there was a 5-6 year period where Russell Wilson was just cooking. But the interesting thing about Garoppolo, he's won about 70-something% of his starts, which is up there with some of the all-time greats. So people
definitely
forget that about Garoppolo. He wins games. So
I think he's overcooked at this point.
So you got Broncos in this, or you're saying?
I'd lean Broncos for sure. I can't take the Raiders. I just can't take them on the road division game. I was just saying for this season, I hope the best for Jimmy G. And then last season, before Jimmy G got injured, stats wise, he was a top 5 quarterback in passer rating, and people gave him so much crap for throwing interceptions. His interceptions were really low before he got injured, and then that was that. But he has a lot of potential. He's still a pretty good quarterback. He's not bad by any means, so should be interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of the knock on Garoppolo too is this isn't said that much, but it does seem like in a way he's not great at throwing to the sidelines. He likes throwing over the middle.
Yeah,
Devontae Adams is a big sideline receiver, so maybe we're wrong. Maybe that's just not. Maybe that's just where Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to go. He does do a lot of crossing plays over the middle, so it could just be that he didn't get much opportunity to do that. I do think Garoppolo's better than people state, just like you do. So, but I got Broncos. I think we all got Broncos. So.
For sure. Awesome. All right, so moving on to the next game. This is a game that could be interesting. Eagles-Patriots. And I actually pointed this out earlier in one of my episodes that this could be an upset Patriots. Don't be shocked if they win this game.
And another similar as well.
Okay, I'll let you guys go, and then I'll give my little rebuttal.
Go ahead, Dylan. Did you want to?
Well, listen. I just think Bill Belichick. You never want to. He's a great coach. They're going to be home, and it's just I really like. Mac Jones has really. I wouldn't say proven himself, but he could show he could be an NFL quarterback, and they just have. They always have a great scheme, and I think Belichick is going to have the upper hand for this one.
Okay. I like it. And
then the Eagles are good. They were just in the Super Bowl. But, they lost a lot of key pieces, and they might have a slow start, I think. So I think the Patriots are going to come up with the upset.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think Eagles might have a slow start to the season as well. We'll see. Go ahead, Will. Or you want to say something?
So, I mean, I get it. New England, they'll probably win 7, 8, 9 games just on Belichick and defense alone. But the difference in talent here is just too drastic for me. And defense, both sides of the ball, I think, the Patriots offensive line isn't, god awful, but I think the Eagles defensive line is going to create, the pass rush is going to get the Mac Jones this game. And his receivers don't create great separation. But the Eagles got two, Juju Smith-Schuster and Devontae Parker. They did add Gesicki, but the Eagles got the corners to cover that. They got Slay, Bradbury. So I do think this is a good matchup for the Eagles right now. Jalen Hurts, I don't think, Belichick tends to rally young quarterbacks, but I think Jalen Hurts is past that. We saw that in the Super Bowl. So I think actually, I think what is it, Eagles minus 3.5. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a 10-plus point game. So I think the Eagles are going to control this game for sure.
Okay. Wow, definitely. But take this into account, and I know this is crazy, but the Brady effect. He is going to be in the stadium week 1. They're doing a big ceremony for Tom Brady. So we'll see if that has anything to do with Patriots getting that W.
I think that will probably get in Belichick's head. He'll have Brady behind him.
Yeah.
I'm better than that guy. I got to show it. And then,
yeah. We will see.
Maybe Belichick's a good in-game schemer, so that'll never happen. But I just think the difference in talent is too drastic here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, for sure. Let's move on to the next game here. The Dolphins-Chargers, Tua versus Herbert. What do you got in this one? What's the spread on this one?
This might be my hot take because I think a lot of people are going with Chargers, but I gotta go Miami here. They do have some players on defense, still Chargers, but they seem to never perform. They were a little better at the end of last season, but then they gave up a 27-point lead. Jason Jackson's got to show why they paid him, why they signed him, and will they be able, like that secondary? And they also got Derwin James back there. He's great, but are they going to be able to contain Tyreek Hill and Waddle? I don't know. When Tua showed me when he plays, that offense is almost unstoppable. So I gotta go Miami here in a close one, but I think Miami. What is it? Is Chargers favorite? I think Miami takes the upset here. So.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that take.
I'm gonna go the other way with it. I think the Chargers are gonna come out firing because after that straight up embarrassing loss, like losing by 22 points, like a comeback of 22 points, like that's insane. And Tua, he just came back from multiple head injuries. And I didn't really like what I saw from him in the preseason as well. We were talking about it before. I don't even know why they would start Tua after his multiple head injuries. It's pretty crazy. It's not like they added any offensive. They knew what it was going to be.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
And he had an interception the first play. This one play in preseason, and I think he's going to be slow coming back as well. From multiple head injuries. It might have got to his head, literally.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Chargers at home, they have a great team. I definitely believe in Herbert. I love their receivers. I would lean Chargers, but yeah, this is one of those games where Dolphins are the underdog, +3. I would try to get like +3.5 on it because it could come down to a field goal for sure. But yeah, for me, it's kind of a toss-up, but I want Chargers to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dolphins pull this one off on the road. Let's move on to the next game here. Let's check the chat really quick. Did anyone? Okay, no one mentioned that game. All right, moving on to the next game. Division game, not too crazy. We should know the winner. Could go either way, but we got the Rams and the Seahawks. Do any of you guys think the Rams will win this game?
Well, no. I
Okay.
think it's going to be tough for them. And,
Yeah.
If you look at the Rams, you got Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, who seems a little banged up, Aaron Donald. Then what do you got? But meanwhile, the Seahawks are loaded with young talent. And I'm not sure if Jackson Smith and Jigba will play week 1. But regardless, you got wide receiver depth. You got 2 really good running backs. You just drafted another one to go along with Kenneth Walker. And if Geno Smith could put up those kinds of numbers again, this is going to be a for Seattle. I'm worried about the Rams. I'm really worried.
Definitely. I agree.
In the stakes, so.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking at the preseason rank or the season rankings going into the season for defense, and Rams are ranked last according to a few articles I was seeing.
Which is crazy because they might have the best defensive play.
Yeah.
And that's ranked last. So
I know.
That just shows how lack of other position depth they have. So.
Yeah, and I was seeing other experts saying that the Seahawks could get first place in the division, which I'm a Niner fan, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
That hurts you a little bit.
Yeah, definitely hurts, but honestly, yeah, I could definitely see it come down to the end of the season. So I'm not counting out the Seahawks by any means, but this should be an easy W for the Seahawks because they're at home too. What's the spread on that? I think we mentioned it, but
Right here. I have Seahawks minus 5.5. It could
5.5.
change.
Yep,
Yeah,
5.5.
I-
All right,
yeah,
cool.
I cover that. So
I agree with that as well. Just the fact, like you were saying, their defense, the Rams defense is terrible, and then you have elite wide receivers still out there. Metcalf is really good. Who's the other one?
lock. You gotta lock.
Yeah,
So he's getting older.
Yeah, you still have a lot of good receivers out there.
Yeah,
Like you're getting old, but Gino really stepped up this last season. He had a real comeback season last year.
And watch out for the Rams O line. That might be a problem moving forward this season.
Oh,
So
for
keep
Stafford,
an eye-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be rough. All right, so moving on, we got Dylan. He's a Giants fan. We're talking about your Giants. So Giants, Cowboys, what do you think? Obviously, you want Giants to win.
Floor, Dylan.
I obviously can't go against my Giants,
Yeah,
And they really added a lot to the wide receiver depth chart. Like you can't go wrong. And I'm going to go the other way with it. Just saying how terrible the Cowboys have been just in the offseason. I'm not sure if you saw all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, but there were so many fights that were breaking out. You have players cursing out their star quarterback. And then they just picked up Trey Lance. Like, why would you pick up Trey Lance and trade him for a 4th-round pick? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of controversy going on with the Cowboys, and I feel like the Giants really do have their head on straight. They know what they are. So just from that fact, I think the Giants are going to win that easily.
okay, cool. I mean, trust me, I hate the Cowboys. I'll say that up front. I hate the Cowboys. So go Giants in this game for sure. So I'm on your side, Dylan, but it's hard to go against the Cowboys just knowing how good their defense is. But go ahead, Will. Did you want to say something?
A little bit.
Well, for me, I think I get a rap. I don't know if you watch my show a lot, but I get a rap for being a little bit of a Giants and a Daniel Jones hater. I'm gonna go with the Giants here too. So look, I just think McCarthy calling plays for the first time ever in Dallas and the first time in a while. They might struggle a little bit coming out of the gate. Dak, Kellen Moore was very creative. I think they're gonna be missing him a lot at the beginning of the season. And it's just you lost Schultz. A couple of years ago, you traded away Amari Cooper. You get Brandon Cooks, but essentially you replaced Amari Cooper for Brandon Cooks, and I think Amari Cooper's better. Plus, you lost Schultz and Zeke. The defense is still going to be causing turnovers, but will the offense take a slight step back this season? I think the Giants' defense is a little underrated. They have a great D-line. And then the Cowboys have a decent O-line. But I think in this game, the Giants are just going to come out firing on all cylinders. They're going to be fired up. I think they're home in this game.
Yep.
Cowboys are favored 3.5. I would definitely take the Giants in the spread, and I got the Giants in the game. I think they're going to take this one at home.
Sweet. I really hope you are right because go Giants this week. It's funny. I'm actually going to the Niners Giants this season.
Oh, really?
In SF. I'm going to that game, so should be fun.
Nice. That could be a good one.
Yeah, I think I'll take
Yeah.
the Niners in that one. But
Yeah. Well, and
there's
it's
still a
our
little bit of separation in talent.
it's our home opener too.
Right. Well,
Oh, okay.
okay.
That
There
should be
you
a
go.
good one.
There you go.
Yeah, Thursday night football.
Prime time.
Okay, so now, Will, moving on to your Jets. Here we go. Jets versus Bills. On 9/11 and Monday night. What do you think?
So I'm going to this game. I'm going to this game.
Oh, you're
It's gonna be
going?
Very exciting. Yes, I'm going.
Sweet.
And it's going to be exciting for me. I'm a little worried about the Jets with Rodgers this season, but I think there's just too much young talent there. I think a big factor of this game is that Von Miller is going to be out. People are worried about the Jets O-line, but they're missing their best pass rusher. And it was proven last season that the pass rush was different with Von Miller than without Von Miller. I think Rodgers is going to come out with a fire under his, what. So I think the Jets are going to come out just like the Giants, kind of like fired up. Saleh's going to have those guys fired up in the locker room. He always gives a great speech, but it might be tough. The Jets offense might struggle for a drive or two, but I think they're just and especially on defense, they have some talent. They showed they could stop Josh Allen and the Bills last season. What makes me think they beat him with Zach Wilson? So I think they're going to be able to steal one this year from them too. And I think it's going to be their home game. So I think the home opener Jets will beat the Bills, and hopefully people won't think I'm biased, but I think the Von Miller thing is bigger than people are letting on to. So I think that's a big factor in this for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like going into this season, I'm actually having the Bills having a slightly worse season than last year. I have them
I think we both
digressing
agree.
a little bit. Yeah, and then going into this game, I'm taking Jets too. I want Jets to win in that
There we
game.
go.
So yeah, I can't go against the Jets there. I'm not a big Bills fan for sure, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Aaron Rodgers does. There's tons of pressure on him, but he's seeming like he's a free man. Like he's walking lighter. You know, he's happy to be in New York. So
Right.
I don't know. It should be interesting.
I will say this: he won't be happy and walking light once they start losing some games and the press gets on him. You know, everything's
That's
happy.
true.
New York press.
Everyone's
you know,
happy,
yeah.
daisies, sunflowers, and roses right now.
That's
But
true.
Coming from a Jets fan, things will turn very south if they start to struggle out the gate. They got a tough schedule out the gate. I'm pretty sure it's Buffalo, Dallas, New England, Kansas City, Philly. So they got to start, maybe 3-3, 4-2, and then I think they'll be okay. But it's going to be rough coming out the gate. So especially this home opener, this is going to be a good telling sign of how the Jets exactly going to be this season.
Definitely, and yeah, it's definitely the honeymoon stage right now for Aaron Rodgers and
Exactly,
the Jets
right.
for sure. All right, so
I'm
that's
actually gonna go the other way
Go
with
ahead.
it. So I'm gonna get the Bills for this.
okay.
So their defensive line was within the top 10, ranked within the top 10, and we know what's wrong with the Jets. The one thing, their offensive line. So I really think that they're gonna get a
Yeah.
lot of pressure from the Bills, and I don't know how well he's gonna respond to that.
I think there'll be pressure, but I think Von Miller, helped that pressure a lot. And they're still going to create some pressure. The Jets O-line is a little suspect, but I think, Rodgers has such a quick release that, Von Miller may be the difference. So we'll see. I'm hyped.
Okay.
I'm excited for that game. I can't wait.
Yeah, and you're going to it. That is awesome. That's gonna be
Yeah,
electric.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
I might be disappointing leaving. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully I wake
Yeah.
up on Tuesday and I'm happy. So we'll see.
Hopefully it goes your way for sure. So those are the games. We're gonna do like 3 rapid fire questions, just really quick here. Let's see in the chat. Appreciate all you guys that are watching in the chat right now. So here's some rapid fire questions. Just 3 questions. Patrick Mahomes, over or under 281 yards passing this game? They have him at 281
All right.
without Kelsey.
I'll go over on that one. I'll go over that one. I think he'll come out firing. I mean,
Okay.
even without
Kelsey.
Kelsey, I think he still has, he always makes his receivers, and I think that's what he'll do exactly here.
So
Okay.
if Kelsey was playing, I would definitely say over. I do think the Lions secondary it might take some time for them to gel together, especially this first game. But I'm going to go with under there. Kelsey might be that difference in passing yards. It's hard for me to say over 281 when you're missing your best weapon, and then you say Tony was out too. So it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll get it done other ways. I think the running game might get going a little bit in this game for Kansas City. They're going to have to. And
Yeah,
I'm going to
gonna
go
s-
under.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what the line was before the Kelsey news. It must have
I'm
been higher
curious too,
for sure.
yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
curious.
I would lean under, but it's when you bet against Mahomes, he just proves you wrong. So
I know, but
I feel like he never has rust. Like he's always just on it,
Yeah.
on it,
So
on
sure.
it. In the preseason, they were playing him. I don't know why they played him, but they were playing him in the preseason.
Yeah,
and
that's
he,
kinda
and he
funny.
still looked very special there. Like,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Of course.
You really can't doubt Patrick Mahomes.
yeah, it's a tough one. So we're kind of split on that. All right, question number 2. Your boy Aaron Rodgers, over or under 2 passing TDs?
over under 2. It's not
So I
2.
guess 1.5. So will he throw 2 passing TDs?
Oh, I'm going to go over for that. If it was 2.5, I might have went under, but I'll go
Yeah.
over for that.
That's a good.
Look, yeah,
yeah.
I think that's a good one because you got Garrett Wilson. The defense, the Bills secondary is still very good, but 2 passing touchdowns is easy for Rodgers. So I mean, you got to go over for that. So that's in my opinion. We'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah, I would take the
I'll go
over too
as
for
well.
sure.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go over as well. Garrett Wilson. They still have a lot of talent around there. I don't know if Cook's going to be that guy
Well-
to really push it in.
Well, that's the thing. I think one of those passing touchdowns might go to the running back. So we'll see. So that's he can get it in multiple ways. So I'll go over for that.
Okay, sweet. Last question, and this is your Giants. Giants will score over or under 21 points on the Cowboys. 21.5. So over or under. That's what they have the Giants at right now.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's
That is a really
yeah, that's
good
a good
one.
It's a tough one, huh?
Yeah, it is. just the fact you got Saquon, he's known for getting them touchdowns. There's multiple ways you can get it. I'm gonna go over. I think Darren Waller is really gonna step up. I think he's gonna have at least one touchdown this game, and then you're gonna have Saquon with another, and then who knows.
Over under 21. That's tough for me. That can definitely go either way. I don't have a definite answer at the top of my head, but the first thought that comes to my head is over, because I do think the Giants, like I said, they're going to come firing on all cylinders. Brian Dable's going to have a good scheme for them coming into that game. I think Waller is going to be effective. They do have two good corners, Dallas, but I think the Giants have a lot of speed, so I do think they'll try to use all their gadgets that game, especially to win the big division game over Dallas. So I'll go over.
A good start for them.
Yeah, I feel like they have to score over 21 to win that game. I mean, it could be a low-scoring game, but I feel like they have to get over 21 to beat the Cowboys. So it could be, great defenses, but it could be a quarterback duel. So it might be a high-scoring game. We'll see.
And we've had many debates about Dak versus Daniel Jones, so I guess we get to see it week 1.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I guess, we've had many debates for that.
Yeah, that is awesome. So, hey, guys, it's been a lot of fun doing this with you.
Oh, pleasure, man.
Plug your guys' podcast. How often do you guys do it? How often do you guys post? Tell the audience.
So we go once a week. Usually we
Okay.
post we post every Friday, but now since the season's starting, we're gonna post every Thursday, probably a few hours before the game. Usually we do 5. We'll probably do around 4 or 5, and then we post some reels during the week. So we'll probably have a couple reels out before all the games. So follow us at Hold My Helmet. Same on YouTube, TikTok. We also have Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Oh,
and
sweet.
Yeah, so it's been fun so far.
Yeah, no, it is a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing this as well.
Yeah, we appreciate coming on.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do some more. Maybe we can make this a regular thing. We'll
Yeah,
see
we
how it goes.
This is a lot of fun. We definitely got to do this more often. I'm sure we got a lot of people throughout the chat, and this video will be on YouTube later. So if you guys want to watch this, or you guys watching this at a later time, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Hold My Helmet. You guys have a great rest of your week and enjoy week 1 in the NFL and see if our predictions are true or not. So you guys in the chat, you guys have a good one.